currently wake up anxious because you know how much work needs to be done. There's a lot, it's already overwhelming. And by 2 p.m., you are exhausted. And this is somehow bleeding into your client work because you're dreading client sessions, even though you absolutely love working with clients. But for some reason, now you're dreading it. And let's not get started on the tech, right? The tech, very, very stressful and overwhelming when you have your online business. And so you are already thinking, how do I heal my nervous system? Because I know that this is what is underneath this. And you're absolutely right. You're absolutely correct. But what I'm actually going to talk about in this video is something more important than meditating, yoga, breath work, or tapping, right? And so if you've done any of those things and you're still feeling anxious when you're looking at your to-do list, you can't turn your brain off before you go to bed. You're exhausted by 2 p.m. and your brain is going and going a mile a minute. When you're starting to dread client sessions, which is really unlike you, and you're doing things that are also not like yourself, like you're behaving in ways that are very reactive, and you get so overwhelmed and give up easily in tech when normally you are someone who actually just keeps trying, right? And so these are definitely signs of nervous system regulation. And I'm going beyond the surface level tools of meditation, yoga, and breath work. And what I'm going to teach you are the principles that I have taught 3,000 students and my current clients, because without this skill, you will continue to lose thousands in sales from dysregulation, and it will cost you your eventual reputation because your clients can feel your dysregulation. So let's fix it today, shall we? So these principles are so important, and number 6 is the most important part that health practitioners absolutely are extremely bad at. And so the very first principle is that you want to stop trying to fix yourself. I know as a high achiever, you're always wanting to get better, right? There's nothing wrong with getting better. In fact, that's actually a very admirable trait of yours. But if you're coming and you're like, oh my God, I have all of this anxiety and like it's so chaotic, blah, 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 blah. I need to fix myself that something is wrong with me. That is one of the biggest reasons why you are dysregulated. And this is going to tie into the second reason, the second principle, which is the symptoms that you're having are messages, right? So when you stop fixing, when you stop looking at, oh my God, I'm anxious, I gotta fix this, I'm gonna make this go away. Oh my God, I have panic attacks whenever I get overwhelmed with clients, I gotta fix this. Instead of coming from that place, you want to see the panic attack as a message, right? You want to see the overwhelm as a message by your system. And when you shift your paradigm to this, everything changes because those first two alone, those two are regulating in and of itself because that is what your nervous system has been dying to tell you, but you weren't fucking listening. The messages that your body is feeling, that high heart rate because you're anxious, the feeling of wanting to hide in place when you're overwhelmed is a sign from your nervous system. It is simply a message for you to pay attention. And when you see it in that way, you're going to cultivate a better relationship with yourself, which is healing in and of itself. You don't need to meditate through this. You just need to really take control. And the third principle is body-based movement, meaning you use motion to regulate. In my world, I have taught over 3,000 students now with current clients currently, and motion is regulation. This is the biggest part of the process. And so when you're trying, especially if you're an overthinker, if you're trying to force yourself to sit in a meditation to calm your thoughts down, that's not what your body needs. What is going to be more useful is to move that energy around first, and then potentially, if you so feel the need to do so, then sit in that stillness. You're going to have some extra sympathetic nervous system fight or flight energy going on. And when you just move, you're allowing the blood flow to actually be present in all of your joints. And when your blood flow is there, nerve flow also follows, which means that your nervous system will come back online. Motion is regulation. And so when you start looking and prioritizing movement snacks throughout your day, then you will find a massive difference with regards to anxiety. It will decrease. Overwhelm, it will decrease. You're feeling depressed, you're going to want to start doing shit now because you are actually moving. And so the fourth main principle is sleep. We cannot deny sleep. And for this video, I'll make it very, very simple because this can get complex fast. What is really important is what you do when you wind down before bed and the first thing you do in the morning. So be honest with yourself. What is the first thing you do last thing you do at night before bed? What is the first thing you do in the morning? If it includes this and you're doing this before bed, if the first thing you see are this and the notifications, that is the first thing you want to really fix. If the first thing is the dopamine hit from these phones, then you've set yourself up to be overwhelmed already and have that stressor, right? Immediately, as soon as you wake up. If you're winding down and you have the dopamine hits again, your body is up here when it really needs to be down here to wind down, right? And so you get to have a routine for yourself where when you're intentionally lying down, it doesn't have to be a full hour like those influencers. Nobody's got time for that. But a very intentional 5 to 10 minute wind down, a very intentional 5 to 10 minute wake yourself up slowly. That's when you can add your movement in the morning as well to help get you set up during the day is going to be so, so, so powerful. And then the fifth one is play. You heal your nervous system by doing playful things. The nervous system loves games and fun. And so if you can give yourself that, sometimes we get too serious, especially when we get really busy, we don't make time for anything fun. And that's why we tend to doom scroll so that we can, laugh at cat and dog videos on TikTok. But if you're actually intentional in doing something that is playful, during at least once a week, or even 5 to 10 minutes a day, just allow yourself to play around and be creative and think of something else other than your business. That is going to help turn on your creativity aspect of your brain, which then moves the resources away from the survival brain. And so when you're doing something creative, it helps you to be present in that moment, and the different parts of your brain, specifically the creative parts, are going to light up instead of the survival brain, anxiety, overwhelm, all that shit, which is going to be back in the survival brain back there. You are specifically doing that, and you're specifically putting the resources into the places where regulation and healing naturally occurs. And so the last and most important one is, drum roll please, the most important principle that will help your nervous system heal is telling yourself the truth. I know, so simple, right? But are you actually telling yourself the truth? Are you allowing it? And I'll give you an example because I work with health practitioners, and this is the most frequent thing they say. Like, I am going through this very, very hard thing, but I'm actually grateful about my life. You've already bypassed the very hard thing that is happening for you. And this is very different from being in victim mentality when you're just choosing to be a victim. The difference in telling yourself the truth is that if you are working through technology, for example, right? If you're working through technology and you absolutely don't like it and you hate it, like, you can say that, right? Just say that you hate doing tech. There's nothing wrong with that. That's not victim. You're just expressing your feelings about it and your very valid thoughts about it. If there's someone on the internet who was very disrespectful and you're angry, that makes sense, right? That makes sense that you would be angry if someone was disrespectful towards you. But then in the personal development world, you've probably learned to be like, oh, how is this teaching me something? I am going to be look at the positive always. But no, there is validity in feeling angry, right? And so are you allowing yourself to tell yourself the fucking truth? And especially for health practitioners, this is very, very difficult because you've probably been told to just keep the peace, to manage everything, you'll figure it out, you don't need to actually express your emotions. You're too much. It's too much. You're going to be too difficult. You've probably heard that at some point in your life, right? And so you have learned to lie to yourself and abandon yourself. That's why it's so important to rewire this pattern. This is one of the most important patterns that I help my health practitioners to do. Just tell themselves the motherfucking truth. Because when you do, something magical happens. You'll immediately feel at ease. Sometimes, and I would even argue most of the time, if you just told yourself the truth of exactly how you think, feel, and perceive the situation for exactly as it is, that is going to be more healing and regulating for your nervous system than 3 hours of breath work. I said it. So, tell yourself the truth. It is one of the most regulating things that you can do because, again, your body is sending these signals, right? You are feeling angry for a reason. And when you can acknowledge that, you will come from a place of neutrality. And I know that there is a fear that you will act and react based on that anger. But when you actually acknowledge it, you can see the different perspectives. And then that is when you'll be able to actually act in a place that aligns with your values. And if you ignore it, that is what's going to make you react because it's just going unconsciously. You've not placed your attention on it. And so this is the most important thing. And this was one of the hardest things that health practitioners have a hard time rewiring. That's why they are so appreciative when we work together because we personalize this approach. And I'm very fucking good at noticing your patterns and more importantly, helping you to see this pattern and helping you to find the best way to shift it that makes sense for you. Because at the end of the day, our sessions are only going to be there, right? You live with yourself 100% of the time. So I am committed to teaching you how to do this for yourself all the time so that you can continue to heal your nervous system every single day, every hour of every day. That way, you no longer have to leak thousands of dollars in sales because you stop waking up anxious and can't be productive at work. And you have more time on your hands because you can tap into the state of flow and get work done without it feeling heavy. You stop dreading your client sessions and show up with so much fun and playful curiosity that your clients actually trust and open up faster, giving you first session results. And even if you're struggling with tech, you are just going to go through it and even decide to hire someone unapologetically so that you can get more time in your hands without feeling guilty for asking for help. And so I hope that these 6 principles helped. To recap, the first principle is stop fixing yourself. You ain't fucking broken, okay? Because all of the symptoms that you're feeling, your dysregulation, are just messages from your nervous system. Move your ass. Motion is regulation. Number 4, be mindful of how you're winding down before sleep and how you're waking up after sleep. And 5, add some play and juiciness into your life. And 6, and the most important one, tell yourself the fucking truth. This is how you heal your nervous system. Let me know if this helped you. Share it with a friend if it did help you. And I have a few spots open for per week for initial consultations where I will help you shift the one biggest thing that is costing your business right now thousands of dollars from your sabotage patterns. We will shift that and you will walk away with a foolproof way to regulate your nervous system anytime, anywhere in real time so that it stops happening in the future. Details to the initial consults are below, and I will see you around.